Hello, grade 5, how are you? Okay, listen, today we're gonna start a new lesson. This is chapter 9, lesson 1. The name of our lesson is A New Nation. Okay, guys, that in last chapter we speak about how the Americans finished the war for independence. They got their independence or their freedom and their land, okay, from Britain, of course. And in this lesson, we're going to see how America started to build itself, to build its land, to build its country. Okay, so number one, in building any country, the citizens try to write constitution for the country. Well, the meaning of constitution, guys, means laws or the laws, or I'm sorry, the laws or the rules for the country. Okay, so number one, to build a new nation, because now they got their freedom, they wanted to write the constitution or the laws of America. Okay, guys, that I want to tell you something. That during the war, the states of America, they were separate states. Well, the meaning of that, they were separate states. It means, guys, that they had their own laws and constitution. Okay, so during the Revolutionary War, the states were separate states. Well, the meaning of that, it means that each state has its own laws, each state has its own constitution. Okay, it means that the laws of Massachusetts, for example, is different than New York, is different than New Jersey, and so on. Also, there is something that the money value, okay, is different from one state to another. So $1, for example, or the dollar in Massachusetts is different than New York, is different than New Jersey, is different than Minnesota, and so on. Okay, so in each state there is different constitution and also different money value. Okay, but the Americans in that time, they didn't want a central government. The Americans in that time, they didn't want, look, they didn't want a central government. Well, the meaning of central government, it means that they didn't want that only one person govern America. Okay, only one president govern, or only one leader govern all America or all the states. No, 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 they didn't want that. That's why, guys, the Congress created national government. The Congress created something called the national government. Look, the Congress created, the Continental Congress created a plan for a national government. This national government, okay, it's called Article of Confederation. So this government or this plan for the national government is called the Articles of Confederation. This is how this government will work. Okay. Okay, this Articles of Confederation, guys, it give most power to the state governors. Okay, it gives the most of the power to the state governors, but few power with the Congress. But few power with the Congress. How, guys? Let's see. Listen, حبايبي, instead of this part, just 1 minute. Here is in this part. Okay, this is how the Articles of Confederation make the states and the Congress work. Okay, so instead of reading this part, okay, he made a table for you. It's very easy to study, and I want you to study from this one, the Articles of Confederation. Okay, it states what the Congress could do and what the Congress couldn't do. What the Congress could do, the Congress, for example, could declare war and peace. Okay, if they wanted war with any country, the Congress can declare that or can announce that. Number two, the Congress can deal with other nations. Okay, so the relationships with other countries, the Congress is responsible for. Number three, print and borrow money. If they wanted to borrow money from any country, the Congress can ask for these countries to borrow money. Number four, the Congress could organize new territories. It means that divide the lands into pieces of or plots of land. Okay, so the Congress, these are the four points that the Congress could do. Okay, what the Congress couldn't do. Number one, regulate trade or responsible for trade. It means that which goods, for example, the Americans can import or export. No, 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 the Congress couldn't do that. Okay. Number two, set up an army. Okay. It couldn't also set up an army or form the army. Okay. Number three, raise money with taxes. It means that the Congress couldn't tax people. The Congress couldn't tax people. Okay, and this is one problem that the Articles of Confederation will failed to achieve. Number four, the Congress couldn't force states to obey its laws. Okay, why? Because I told you that each state has its own laws or constitution. Okay, and most of the power was for the state's governors, not for the Congress. Okay, this is what the Articles of Confederation show us. Okay, guys, what happened next? What happened next, guys, is that people found that the Articles of Confederation, okay, listen, I'm gonna delay this part, okay, this part about the North Territories, okay, يعني I'm gonna delay it after I finish one point here. The problems for the new nation. So I'm gonna take this page first and then return back to the page before. Okay, what happens? What is the problems of Articles of Confederation? If you read this part, guys, you're gonna find that number one, the Articles of Confederation couldn't make the states work together because I told you that the states, each state has its own laws or constitution. So the problems that the Articles of Confederation achieved that number one, it couldn't make the states work together. Okay, this is number one. Number two, the states print their own money, okay, with different values. The value of money was different. I told you, for example, you can buy a pencil, for example, with $1 in Massachusetts, but with $2 in New York. Okay, so how come the money value is different in each state? So this is the second problem. The third problem, the Congress has, or America has, debts from the war. You know that during the Revolutionary War, what happened? America borrow money from some countries, and now America has debts. Debts, it means that America has to return back the money to the countries it borrowed from. Okay, so now America has debts. How it pay back these debts? It couldn't tax people to get money. Okay, so this is the third problem, that the Congress couldn't tax people. Okay, because America has debts. Okay, number four, the fourth problem. The fourth problem, guys, is Shaya's problem. Well, what Shaya's problem? Shaya's, this is one farmer, okay, in Massachusetts. This guy and the other farmers, around 1,100 farmers, they had some problems. What are these problems? Number one, that Massachusetts asked these farmers to pay taxes to the state, okay? Not for America, to the state. As I told you before, that each state has its own laws, okay, has its own constitution. So maybe in Massachusetts, people have to pay taxes, but in New York, no. The citizens couldn't, يعني, are not forced to pay taxes. Okay, so in Massachusetts, the farmers had to pay taxes to the government. This is number one. Number two, the second problem, that these farmers own the money to the merchants for supplies they bought. Okay, so they have to pay money to the merchants because they got some supplies from them. Okay, but now those farmers, guys, didn't have money to pay taxes or to pay for the merchants. So they have two options. Okay. Number one, they go to jail or lose their farms. Okay. Lose their farms. So what did Danielle Chais do and the other farmers? They made something like a protest. We talked this word before. Protest means that they say no against the government. So all of those farmers, okay, may protest against America. And this gathering, as you can see, here is how the farmers with some weapons, okay, or with some knives, as we can see, okay, they protest against the government. Shia's rebellion, and also the debts that America couldn't pay for the other countries, and the different money value, and that each state has its own constitution. All of these problems showed us the weak national government, or that showed us that the Articles of Confederation, okay, it couldn't achieve peace, and it couldn't achieve a cooperation in all the states of America. Okay, so that's why the Congress. Yes, by the way, I forget to tell you something that about Shia's rebellion. The militia gathered and managed to defeat those farmers. But after Shia's problem, okay, America declared that, or all the states declared that they had to change the Articles of Confederation. So all the representatives gathered in the Congress in Philadelphia to discuss how they change the how to change the Articles of Confederation. Okay, here is guys coming back to this part concerning the Northwest Territory. What the meaning of territory first? Territory, guys, means a piece of land. Okay, territory means a piece of land. So after the war, guys, some lands are returned back to America. Okay, they won, and then they return their land back. Okay, so some of this lands has no representatives, and some of these lands, okay, are called the Northwest Territory. Some of these lands are called the Northwest Territories. Okay, the Congress passed two laws, or two ordinance. Ordinance means law. Ordinance is a law. The Congress passed two laws concerning these pieces of land, or concerning these territories, okay, that are owned after the war. Okay, what are these laws? I told you they are two laws. Law number one, it was in 1785. It was called the Land Ordinance. Okay, what this law said, the first law said or explained that how the new lands would be measured, divided, or sold. So the first law explained that this new land, okay, that was called the Northwest Territory, they made laws that explained how this land will be measured. They measure the land, and then they divide the land, and then they started to sell the land. Okay, the second law declared in 1787. Okay, and this law was called the Northwest Ordinance. Okay, this law showed two something. Number one, how a territory became a state, and number two, that slavery against the laws. Okay, this is our lesson, guys, for today. So watch for the video again, and if you need any question about this lesson, contact me anytime. Thank you, grade 5, and goodbye.